Oh, hey, you're here. I'll catch up with you. Sorry, I'm just on my way out, but your workstation's at the back over there. It should be all set up on the network, but let the guys know if it isn't. From there, you can access all the data you need to help us direct development of the car. Get yourself settled, and then head out to practice when you're ready. I'll catch up with you later, okay?
Welcome to your new team. Haas are experts in getting great value out of every investment. That's why they skipped being backmarkers and jumped straight into the midfield pack in their first season. You are now one of those investments. Make sure they get plenty of value, okay?
Hey! Welcome to my F1 2019 career mode. I ended up choosing Haas as my team because I thought that maybe in an American car would actually make sense. But as you will soon realize, we're not really
Winning rivalries
competitive.
is a great way to earn respect from your team and around the paddock, which will help make it easier to negotiate favorable contracts.
You
Your
know,
first rival is always your
I would
teammate.
appreciate it,
You can
Emma,
choose
if you
who to
didn't
declare as your
cut
second.
me
The
off
harder
so
the rival from the
abruptly.
eligible selection, the more respect you stand to gain, or lose, depending
Yeah,
on the
just
result.
shut up. Okay. Um, this is our performance. We're about average at everything. Our engine power is our chassis is eh, and last but not least, our aero is like very not good. If that's a simple way to put it, you'll see we're actually like bottom. Was that bottom 4 teams for aero? That is not gonna cut it if we're gonna try and do anything. Now this season, I'm really not gonna be really competing for many podiums, if any at all, actually, and definitely not any wins this season. I'm kind of just hoping to get a good foundation for the future, and then we could probably see what we're able to do. Um, I decided that I'm going to invest mostly in the aero department just because that's the department that actually makes the most sense doing for our car, considering we suck. And I just wanted that department efficiency so we can at some point, maybe next season or late this season, start just in practice. I was pretty much just trying to get used to the car. I mean, the car was not necessarily a boat, but not very pacey. Definitely, I would say they're all right. I'm not really impressed with the way the car handled. I'm not depressed because the car sucks. It's just very mediocre, more stuff that I've already said before. And I wasn't really struggling in practice. I think in general, the car felt fine. It was acceptable. So, I mean, hopefully we can do something in qualifying. But as you see in practice, we're actually third above Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly, but both the Red Bulls. So I was actually a little concerned that I had put the difficulty too low, so I ended up moving the difficulty up slightly for qualifying and the race, just because I didn't want to be too fast. Um, and in qualifying one, I go out for my first qualifying lap of my career, apparently. And even though we're in Australia, which is one of the warmest places on planet Earth, pretty much, it is gloomy and slightly cold. So the actual grip in the first qualifying session was very bad overall, and the car, I mean, I could just notice it was wanting to understeer a lot, which is actually kind of uncharacteristic of this Haas car, because I noticed the Haas car actually wants to oversteer most of the time. And this corner we're going super deep because Nico Hulkenberg was about to hold us up. I mean, I guess that held us up still, but at least we got by him. Coming to the end of our first qualifying lap and our only Q1 lap, because I felt pretty confident that we were going to make it out of the first session of qualifying. But I didn't really think we were going to make it out of the second, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm still very cautious, cautiously optimistic, as we actually go third on the time sheets, just behind Hamilton. So it looks like we are going to be up there competing for best of the rest. We end up qualifying 10th in Q1. And our teammate Romain Grosjean doesn't even make it to Q2, which is embarrassing. So we go on, and I'm behind, who is that, Sainz? So I'm behind Sainz. I do make a little bit of contact on this lap, and Sainz is pretty much holding me up because Sainz doesn't have the same amount of pace as I do. Even though I think the McLaren is actually, even though it didn't show it on the R&D chart, I would say the McLaren is actually probably faster than the Haas. And I set my first lap, and it puts us fourth provisionally, again right behind the top 6, or I mean top cars. I go out for a second attempt near the end of the session. I'm trying to be the last person to cross over the line, because if you are, the game won't do a glitch. There's a glitch in the game where if you aren't the last person over the line, pretty much, or one of the last people over the line, people who are out on track will literally set a lap time that is a whole like second faster. It'll be hella unrealistic. It'll go from pole to 10th. I've seen it happen before. I've had it happen to me. It's just bad. So this lap is very meh for me. I feel like I could have done a lot better. But honestly, the car felt pretty good in Q2. And it was kind of, this lap in particular was kind of like a change of pace, even though I don't think the actual pace of the car was that great. The car felt pretty calm and pretty smooth for most of the lap. Again, not like how it was on the previous laps. And I'm actually kind of teetering in between going faster and then being a lot slower. I actually gained like 2/10 out of that one corner right there. And in general, the car is, I think we might actually be able to maybe compete with the Red Bulls at this point. I'm feeling pretty confident. Maybe not the car, because obviously Romain Grosjean didn't even make it to Q2. But at least me, I feel like my pace personally is actually pretty good. And I end up crossing the line. And since we're already P9, we don't improve enough to pass Sainz, but we do make into Q3, which actually surprised me a little bit comparing how I thought this session was going to go as soon as I turned the difficulty. But you know, we made it into Q3. And both the Renaults actually got eliminated, which is surprising to me because the Renaults are not a bad car necessarily in this game. They are very inconsistent, but they are not a bad car. Cutting to our banker lap, or at least my banker lap. This is on the old set of soft tires that I had worn for Q3 on that last lap we just seen. And I can tell my pace is not one of the top teams. I go 6th immediately. I am faster than somebody. I'm faster than Raikkonen, but I'm not very quick. I end up switching to a newer set of soft tires for the actual lap. But funny enough, I actually don't go faster even though I'm on the better tire. I don't know. It just, this lap, the car didn't feel any, like, there was no traction. I don't know if the track just got cooler. Maybe there was some, like, maybe it was some water vapor in there. I don't know what the hell. Voodoo magic. I don't know what happened. It's just that the car just, it actually felt like a boat this lap. Surprisingly, I actually wasn't that far back considering how bad the car was. But I mean, I was pushing so hard on this lap and I just couldn't gain on my previous time. If I can get 7th, if I can finish in 7th, that would be amazing. By the end of the session, obviously you will be able to tell that I do actually kiss the wall a little bit. You know, gotta leave a little mark for tomorrow's race, maybe a mark of luck. And you also got a corner cut just for the extra little effort. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's what they say. Just if they ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So on this cheaty lap on a boat of a car, and I go deep. Man, this lap sucked. Oh my god. This lap really did suck. But across the line, I think I'm about 8 tenths down, 9 tenths down.
Nice job.
Still going 8th, which is actually my team expectation, which surprised me still, because I thought I was going to be 9-10. But we did out-qualify Raikkonen, and we ended up going ahead of Sainz. And I don't even know what the hell type of lap Sainz set. That was, oh, that's disgusting. Sainz set a fucking 2.1. Jesus Christ, he was off the pace. But Vettel got on pole, and Pierre Gasly actually had a lot of pace for being in a Red Bull. Cutting to the race, the team actually gave me 2 strategies I didn't like, so I ended up choosing the one that was kind of, how should I put this, more risky. This is sacrificing track position, but in return, I do become a faster car on the track. I went for a 2-stop. Most people went for the 1-stop. And yeah, here's the start of the race. Now, I got to start the race, and I mean, the start was bad. Like, get off the line was bad. I lose like 3 positions immediately before turn 1, and then in turn 1, I'm having to avoid, and then my car oversteers like crazy. I'm down to P16, and we're not even at corner 2 yet. I mean, that's bad. Now, I do end up making a move on Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg tries to push me out, so we do make a little bit of contact. I do track extend a little bit too, but it's not really that big of a problem yet. As long as they don't have damage, making contact isn't a problem. And actually, look at Kvyat. The torpedo is being really aggressive right now, as we almost actually make contact after I have another fit of oversteer again. And I try and make a move into whatever corner name that is. I don't know Australia very well personally, but we finally clear Kvyat, which is good because now we can start the charge on the actual top tier midfield group right now, and my favorite driver, Daniel Ricciardo, personally. And surprisingly, actually, Lance Stroll, even though I think Lance Stroll's AI might actually be the worst AI in the game, Lance Stroll is in the top 10 right now. So I think the Racing Points actually have a lot of pace currently. And I think they're going to be a big rival for us for a good chunk of the season. And speaking about a good chunk of the season, or not a good chunk of the season, but right now, Nico Hulkenberg is really giving us problems. Contact, battling wheel to wheel, and now he's trying to make a move on me. Cutting to the end of lap 3, we did actually catch up to the lead midfield group and the back of Ricciardo. Hulkenberg is still there because I think Hulkenberg's using our toe to get through the pack as well. So we actually get a really good exit out of the first corner, but I mean, I don't know what happened. I don't think the auto ERS actually had set to a high setting, even though I wanted to. We get the elbows out with Ricciardo too. I don't know what it is with the Renaults, but we are having some very dirty battling with them this race so far. Cutting to the end of lap 4, Ricciardo is still on my tail, and he's getting DRS, and all I can do is defend. I go back to the outside because I know Ricciardo's going to the inside. I try and hang around the outside. We make more contact, but I actually do hang it, which I was actually impressed with because I didn't think this car actually had that ability currently. And speaking of ability, I mean, I don't have the ability to get away from the Renaults right now, and they're holding me up like a ton. Lance Stroll's walking away in the distance. We're gonna have to stop battling if we want to get it closer. And stop battling we did. I finally got a little bit of space from the Renaults, and I did catch up to the top tier midfield group again. And I actually went for the dive bomb on Lance Stroll. We don't make contact this time. I leave him pretty good room, but I also do squeeze him at the end. And that's by Lance Stroll. But as you will see later, it's not that simple. Now I do go into the pit stops, and it's really to take a pit stop currently, but I am going for a very different strategy to everybody else. Most people are going on a soft to medium, and that's their only pit stop. We're going to soft to medium, and we're choosing that extra stop because I literally cannot not choose that strategy. I don't know what it was, but the game would not allow me to do that.
Only one stop to go. One stop left.
So we come out in P20, we're literally last place. And from here, I'm going to have to make up the deficit of everybody else just to try and scrape away with some points. Eventually we do actually catch up to people. Lando Norris is the first victim of us, and Lando Norris is just extremely slow. I don't know what happened to his AI. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he has damage, but he is slow. And again, we make contact. But since my front wing's okay, I don't really care. And the brake temperatures are something I'm never good about, and they're doing not great right now. On fuel, I'm doing not great. I'm trying to stick in lean, but as you see, when you're trying to battle and overtake, it's hard to stick in the lean for very long. And we actually get Robert Kubica as our second overtake of the day, or well, not of the day, but at least of the pit stop phase. Cutting to the end of lap 12 to the start of lap 13. Everyone's made their stops, and when everyone made their stops, I was actually surprised because I actually came out ahead of Gasly. I didn't actually effectively jump him because Gasly is effectively ahead of me still. But it was kind of fun to battle with Gasly for a little bit. And Gasly was, he's really aggressive. He came out on a new set of hard tires. And I was surprised that he even had this much pace, like, right out the get-go, lap 2. Out from making a stop, because I was assuming that his tires were heating up, or would start to heat. It wouldn't hit. My bad. Wouldn't be heating up until a certain point. But obviously I was wrong, and our trash ass teammate Romain Grosjean, we finally caught up to. Now I don't know how Romain Grosjean actually got up this high. I think he started in P18, but eventually he got here. We make a corner cut again. I'm trying to get past Grosjean, because if I can get past Grosjean enough, maybe I can start to create a gap between me and Gasly. Maybe Grosjean will hold him up a little bit. And Grosjean actually did a really good job holding him up, because as we cut to later, Gasly is actually was so far back that he actually got overtaken by Verstappen, and I'm actually catching Leclerc, but I elected to make a pit because I didn't think I could actually make it to the end of the race on this strategy. So I didn't want to cut it close. I didn't want to explode my tires pretty much. So I go into the pits, get another set of medium tires, and I think I come out 12th or 13th. Let's see.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tires.
I come out 13th behind Kvyat, which is unfortunate. I was hoping that I could actually come out ahead of Kvyat, but
so I expect they fix
you know,
whatever the problem
that's
was.
things don't always go the way you hope they go. And I was actually kind of frustrated with my team right now, because I was put on a horrible strategy when a lot of other teams are going to better oh my god. As we're going on to better strategies. Since my tires were cold, they just didn't really have that much grip. But as the tires actually got up to speed, I got the drag or the toe off of Kvyat, go around the outside and make the move stick up into P12, and now we can chase after Sergio Perez. Very ironic that an American is chasing after a Mexican, but nonetheless, nonetheless, is our duty, and that is our American dream to chase the Mexicans off of our land. But let's continue. Let's continue. We set a pretty bad lap that time. But as we know, Sergio Perez actually, his car, he's going very slowly, and as we find out, he's actually out of the race. And that puts us up a place. So now we're in P11, chasing after Ricardo again, so more trouble from the Renaults. And we actually set a purple third sector, and since we have this free room, we actually can go start setting some really blistering lap times. As it's the tail end of lap 19, we actually catch up to the back of Ricardo. And Ricardo is very slow at this point because he's on an old set of medium tires. And we have DRS, the toe. I'm actually not catching him as much as I thought he was going to be able to catch him. And we're going to have to do around the outside because he's playing defensive. And we make the move stick again. So we around the outside, I think, is the way we're going this race. We've made like 3 overtakes at this point around the outside. I was actually very proud of that overtake because that was actually very difficult. We set a purple first sector on lap 21, and we are really catching up to the back of Hulkenberg right here. Cut the corner a little bit again. You know, that's my favorite corner, the corner cut ever. We actually touch his rear a little bit. Pause. But we dive it up the inside, and it's our first inside overtake pretty much almost all race. And we get him done and dusted. And I'm feeling really good because I think I'm actually the fastest car on the track currently. And we caught up to Sainz. And because of the dirty air, it's kind of difficult to attack them because they're bunched up right now. We go on to lap 23, and they are really going after each other. You see the dirt coming off the Sainz tires. This is some wheel-to-wheel racing right here. I think Sainz might make a move on Stroll again, and he does. Around the outside. And I make a little bit of contact and lose not my front wing, but lose a portion of my front wing. And ever since then, the car just didn't feel the same. Kind of lap 24 on the first corner. Lance Stroll's really going for my head right now, and he doesn't get it to work the first time. He does get the toe again on the next straight. Tries to make it around the outside, and this is a very difficult move for him to make. He's still on the inside. Leave him some space, but he actually elects not to use it. Still running wide anyway because the car is just not turning into corners the same. And as you see, Sainz is just leaving. He's just gone. So that pretty much means our highest finishing position is going to be P8 from now. Let's see how well we can defend it. And we are really holding up Stroll. And we lose the back end again. Go wide. And actually, as you notice, the Renaults are actually catching up too. And see Hulkenberg get into the fight. Hulkenberg getting frisky, and he actually hits me again. I don't think my front wing got damaged even more, and even if it did get damaged anymore, I wouldn't be able to tell. But I mean, this is some. I mean, I don't know what up with the Renaults, but the Renaults have been super aggressive driving. I think it's maybe some bad blood between us. I don't know. I don't know what I did to Hulkenberg. Personally, I think Hulkenberg might be one on my seat next season. You never know. So we made more contact. That time it was my fault. I turned in too early on him. Sorry, Hulkenberg. But Stroll gets back into 9th place. And I'm really under pressure right now. I'm feeling the heat. I'm very slow. As you see, Lance Stroll goes for another move on the outside. He can't make a stick. It's really hard to make a move around the outside in this game. It just is. And I just can't get away from them. Even on lap 28. Lance Stroll's trying to make a move into this corner, the chicane, and he just can't. He backs out of it, and that's kind of the thing that was with the battle, is that Lance Stroll just wouldn't commit to the move enough. Like, he'd get his wheels next to mine, but he'd never want to like fully go in with it. That time he backed out again. I go wide a little bit, but it doesn't matter because I can make my car wide enough where they can't go through. They're literally on my gearbox at this point, and they're gonna get the DRS toe off of me. I don't even know who's gonna be ahead at the end of the straight. And Stroll actually gets in front of me, and then immediately locks up, causing him to lose the position, which is just, I mean, I think that's the most Lance Stroll thing ever to do. Mr. Moneybags, as I like to call him. So, Mr. Moneybags on the last lap of the race. I think he probably just blew his chance to actually pass me right there, by locking up. If he wouldn't have locked up, he definitely would have just been gone. Lewis Hamilton ends up setting the fastest lap of the race and also winning the race. Props to him, I guess. I mean, you're in the best car. Lewis Hamilton's actually the best AI in this game, fun fact of the day. So, I mean, hopefully he can be a rival of ours at some point, but we're pretty far from there. The Renaults kind of dropped off. I think maybe one of them had damage, that's why. But actually, Lance Stroll's trying to take it around the outside, and he doesn't get the move to work. And at this point, I was like, I was sweating. I was so happy that I had gotten P8, because pretty much there's not many places to overtake past there on the track, and that's not even really an overtaking place. So final sector, really couldn't do anything. He was right behind me. So as we take the final corners, I go a little wide on this corner though, so I guess he could have gotten me right there. But as we go down the start-finish straight for the last time on lap 29, we finish in P8 in our first race of F1.
Well, I hope we can do better than that at the next race. Not our best day.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. After an incredible performance, Lewis Hamilton secures the top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
It has to be said, Roman Grosjean certainly had my eye today. He made impressive gains during the race.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari take the lead at the top of the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
I got freaking lightning queened over the line for 8th place. And you know what makes it sad? My crew chief would have said something nice to me. Yeah, would have said something nice to me if I would have gone P8. But since Lance Stroll wanted to ruin my day, nope. I mean, we lose right from so many teams, and that's just depressing. I mean, I thought I drove really good.
Commiserations on
Emma,
the
shut the fuck
It's been
up.
a tough
Emma,
weekend.
just go.
Looks like one of your rivals
Bye.
is also going to an upcoming
See you
historic
next
event.
time.
If
Maybe
you choose to take
we
him
can
on,
actually
you
get a
might
good
get your name out
message
there a bit.
from our crew chief for once. But see you next time.